What's going on, you guys? Thank you so much for clicking back onto my channel. Today, judging by the topic of the video, I want to talk about natural versus enhanced athletes. More specifically, I want to talk about it in regards to putting on muscle and when you are trying to diet, the differences between the two. Firstly, let's look at where you are in your lifting career. If you're new to the gym and you're just starting out on a decent periodized training program coupled with a solid nutrition program, for guys, you're probably gonna see maybe about 15 to 20, 25 pounds in the first year of your lifting career. Whereas for women, again, depending on where you're at, you may see anywhere between just 5 pounds or 10 pounds of muscle. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people, but it actually is. You are experiencing what a lot of people refer to as newbie gains. So where it's a lot easier to put on lean body mass in your first little bit of your lifting career, typically your first year of your lifting career. So as you begin to progress, you become more advanced, eventually maybe even becoming an elite lifter. Putting on lean body mass becomes more and more difficult as you progress throughout your lifting career. Now, I'm speaking strictly from a natural bodybuilding standpoint right now. For advanced male bodybuilders, you're lucky to add maybe 1 pound of lean body mass to your stage weight in the next competitive year. Now, for females, you may be lucky to see half a pound. If you're lucky enough, you will see maybe 1 pound of added lean body mass to your stage weight. Now, keep in mind that this is for a typical off season of at least over a year, sometimes even 2+ years. I'm not talking about like a 7-month off season, kind of like what I just did, jumping from competition last May until competition this May. I'm talking about a longer time frame here for this example. So you may be asking, well, what about all those fitness models? All of them look super jacked, young, and super lean. How come they're able to look like that much quicker? And what you're taking out of context here is that these are pro bodybuilders. So pro bodybuilders have 2 things on their side: genetics and drugs. Now, before we get into this discussion, I just want to say that I have nothing against anybody who wants to use PEDs. I think that anybody has the right to use them and should be able to if they choose to. It's their life and they're allowed to do whatever they want with it. But it becomes a problem for me when people start to compare themselves to these people, thinking that they can look like them naturally. And the fact of the matter is, you're never gonna look like them naturally. Even if you don't pride yourself on being a natural athlete and you had all the drugs in the world, there's still genetics that do come into it as well. That still doesn't mean that you're gonna look like them, even if you had all the drugs in the world handed to you. So most importantly, trying to imitate what they do or expect to see the same results that they've had, this is only just gonna lead you down a path of frustration and disappointment. You're honestly comparing apples to oranges, enhanced versus to non-enhanced. You can't compare the two. They are completely different. So let's quickly look at some differences in regards to muscle mass and dieting. So for non-enhanced athletes, when they diet down, they have a much harder time holding on to muscle. Your cortisol increases drastically, your metabolic rate reduces drastically, fat loss starts to slow down very easily, and then problems start to occur with your testosterone, you lose your sex drive, your nervous system starts to shut down. This all leads to a loss in muscle mass. So this is why dieting slowly is very important, because you want to try to hold on to as much muscle mass as you possibly can. It's inevitable, you are gonna lose some. I've already lost muscle mass, but the slower you do it, the more you're gonna actually hold on to. But overall, those who diet down, there's just a common pattern that you will see for natural athletes. Testosterone levels drop, thyroid levels drop, appetite is through the roof, and cortisol is through the roof. Why does this happen? Well, basically because you are starving yourself to death and your body is in survival mode and it is trying to do everything it can to keep you alive until you feed it, essentially. Whereas those who are enhanced athletes, they have a much easier time dieting. The enhanced athlete can basically eliminate all of these problems that I just previously discussed. How? Well, they have a higher than average testosterone level. They don't overproduce cortisol. Their thyroid levels are are optimal, which allows you to keep an optimal metabolic rate as you diet down. It's still difficult for them to diet, don't get me wrong, but dieting time and time again is much easier for them because they can hold on to almost all of their muscle mass. So this isn't meant to depress you, this isn't meant to encourage you to go do drugs. It is just to give you a reality check and for you to be aware of what's possible and what's not possible. So when you see other fitness models or pro bodybuilders, yes, it's okay to admire them, but at the same time, don't compare their situation to yours, and to yours, I am talking to the natural athletes. I have seen the frustrations that it can cause when you're comparing a natural physique to an enhanced physique. I've done it myself. Kyle has got caught up in it, and it is just a vicious cycle that is going to get you nowhere. So if you are proud to be a natural athlete and you don't want to use drugs, my biggest recommendations is, because I think it's good to have a role model, I think you need to look up to people who are in the same situation as you. That's not to say that like the people at the Olympia, like they're amazing, I look up to them, I have so much respect for them, but do I aspire to be like them? Fuck no. I'll never be like them. Why? Because I choose to be a natural athlete. By following different people in a different federation like the IFPA, INBF, anything like that that takes pride in being a natural athlete and a true natural athlete, because there's a lot of fake natties out there. It's important to surround yourself with people who you aspire to be like. So whatever you decide to do, if you want to be an enhanced athlete, if you want to be a non-enhanced athlete, is totally up to you. But just make sure that, because bodybuilding is such a competitive sport, it is very subjective and you compare yourself to a lot of people. Make sure that no matter which road you decide to go down, you are comparing apples to apples. Alright, so I hope this video was helpful, you guys. I hope it was informative and maybe helps you open up your minds as to some of the people you may be aspiring to be like, and hopefully it helps give you a reality check of what's attainable, what's not attainable, and maybe allows you to just focus on yourself more versus comparing yourself to others. If you have any additional questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, just leave a comment down below and make sure you like and you subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you in the next one.